Hey, how you doing? This is Neil from masterpaintnow.com. And have you ever wanted to know how to do twisties like DNA twist and stuff? This is a cube. We can also do a flat plane, or if you just need to twist some, think look like twisted paper or something. I'm going to show you how to do that. It's actually pretty simple. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to delete this object. So this is Neil from masterpaintnow.com, and using the free Blender. This is 2.93, as you can see down here. Free to download, so free software. It's actually really cool. I've been doing sculpting and stuff with it. If you guys want to learn more about sculpting and stuff like that, let me know. I can show you how to do that in Blender. Let's go ahead and get started though. So first thing you do up here, see this little add right here. So make sure, well, first off, make sure you're in layout mode, which will be object mode over here. All right, so click on layout, see there's modeling layout at the top, and then click on add. We're going to go to mesh. We're going to add a cube. We're going to start with the cube here. Use the middle mouse button. Hold down your middle mouse button to move around. If you don't have a middle mouse button, well, they're like $9 mouses now. You should get one. But if you don't have a middle mouse button, look up a tutorial how to activate in Blender. You can activate a middle mouse button to like something on your keyboard. Anyway, so boom, we move around, hold it down and move your mouse around. That's how you move around. If you hold down the shift and middle mouse button at the same time, you can pan around. And if you hold down control and zoom with your, or actually, sorry, hold down control on the keyboard and then use your middle mouse button, you can zoom in and out. Or you can just use your scroll wheel to zoom in and out. Okay, anyway, a little bit, just in case you're new, totally new to Blender, just wanted to show how to do that kind of stuff, get it out of the way. So let's go ahead and use over here. See, you got your tools. You have this scale tool here. You can also use shortcuts like, but like S or whatever on the keyboard. But let's just use this. Use the blue one. Grab this little blue. We're going to scale it up in the Z axis. Now we can also move our 3D cursor down to the bottom if we wanted to scale it up from that point, but it's not really a big deal. Move tool here. And we can move it up and down in space as well. Right, so let's say we have a cube and it's about this long. Well, in order to get it to curve right, we need to have segments in it. But first, let me just show you what happens if we don't have segments. So without segments in it, let's go to modeling mode. So to edit mode over here, so you click modeling, it automatically puts you in edit mode. And then just make sure you have one of these selected. You can hold it down like you hold the mouse down, left click and hold it down. You have these different options. I like the lasso tool. Anyway, you select these top 4 vertices. Make sure you're on the vertice up here, which by default you should be. Then you can click the rotate tool right here. Boom. We'll grab the blue one and we can twist this thing. See? Bam, like that. Up here you have the different view options. We can also see all the way through it. Now we have a twisted building. Very easy to do. But what if we wanted to make this look more like I showed you before, where it continues through? Well, you can't do that here because it just starts breaking. See? Well, that's no good. That's not what we want. So let's go ahead and undo that. Control Z. So how do we do this? Well, first off, we need to add segments to this. There's a couple different ways to do that. You can use the loop cut tool like this, and then add a loop cut, and then add a loop cut, add a loop cut like this, but that takes forever. So a faster way to do this, you have to use a shortcut to do this, otherwise it doesn't work right, is let's go ahead and pick this tool again so we can know that it's working. Shift R, or actually Control R. Is that what it is? Yeah. Control R, and then you have to kind of move your mouse around until you see that right there. And then use your mouse wheel and scroll to add segments. Right, we're gonna add about this many segments, and then left mouse click to verify the first part. Now you can slide it up and down, slide it to where it's even, and then left mouse click again to verify, and now you have divided it into the way we want it. So once it's divided like this, now we can now go to each section like this, and you can twist it like we just did, and you can go to see-through like this. You can also click on X, let's say here, and you can click this. Now we're clicking all of them because I had this. Watch, see how they're all clicked like that now? But if this wasn't selected, go back, click this X up here. Watch what happens. Only 2 vertices will be selected now. Wait, oh, I'm sorry, 4 are selected still because I forgot to, okay. See, if this isn't selected, the toggle through X-ray, then only these 2 vertices will be selected. See that? It's only the 2 you can see. So if you want to select everything all the way through, make sure that's turned on, and then now all 4 will be selected. And you can go all the way down and you can twist these any way you want, but that's not what we're trying to do in this tutorial. We're trying to twist the whole thing. So now we're here, we're back in layout mode. So we're back in object mode. What we want to do, we have the segments on here now. You can't see them, but they're there. Is we want to twist the whole thing. Well, we need to get this up here. So how do we do that? Well, let's go back to modeling mode. Click on this top, any of these top, we'll click the edge tool here, edge selection. Boom, we'll select an edge like that. And then I believe it's Shift S to bring up, to bring up your, where you want the cursor to go. This is the 3D cursor. Cursor to selected, and then left mouse click on this, and bam, see it pops up here. So this 3D cursor popped up here now. You can also just grab that tool and click there. But that's what we want, so now we have the cursor up here. Now it's going to twist from that point. Now we just add a modifier. Over here with modifiers, make sure you're on this little wrench icon. See this little blue wrench icon? Modifier properties. And then in the drop down here, you'll have this one called simple deform. Now we don't want to twist it in the X. We want to twist it in the Z, I believe, yeah. Just click each one until it starts looking right, then you know you're on the right one. Then you have this angle here, angle all up to 360 degrees. And this only works because we have those segments. Without the segments, this wouldn't work right. And maybe you're like, well, that's too much. I don't like that. So let's just go back to our something like this, let's say. Now we have that nice twisted cube. Everything's the same, even if you want to do this with a plane. The procedure is exactly the same, but just in case, you could be done with the tutorial now and just apply the same thing to a plane. But just in case it's not clear to you, let's go ahead and add a plane now. So up here on the Add button, under Mesh, we're going to add a plane. Let's go ahead and just kind of bring the plane over here because it's, see the cursor here? So I can go Shift S, and then let's go bring the cursor back to its origin, the world origin. And then I'm going to delete this because now watch, if I go Add Mesh Plane, it's going to add it here to the world origin now. So first thing I want to do is click this rotation tool here. You can also click R for the shortcut. Actually, let's try the shortcut way. Click R on the keyboard. Oops, I accidentally deleted it. Let's go ahead and add that back in again. Plane. If you click R, you see I can only rotate this way at first. But if you undo that, if you click R twice, now I can rotate in all these different ways. Start rotating it toward you, hit 90 on the keyboard, and then hit Enter. And you can see if it did that right. Oh, anyway, I did that wrong. You have to actually hit R and then put it in the axis you want. So I think if you hit R and then what axis do I want here? I think it's Y. Yeah, so now I'm in the Y axis, and then hit 90, and that's like that. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it, if you don't like shortcuts, because I don't really like shortcuts. I use them when, I mean, sometimes you have to use them, especially when you want to be fast. But for certain things, I don't know. If I don't have to learn a shortcut, I don't want to have to learn it. You can grab the plane you want, let's say the Y here, and start moving it with this tool. This is the rotation tool. And as you're moving it, that is, don't let go of the left mouse button. Keep the left mouse button held down. Hit 90 on the keyboard while the left mouse button is still held down. Then hit Enter on the keyboard, and bam, now you can let go of the left mouse button. Now you have it rotate the way you want it. We're going to do the scale tool, or you can just hit S on the keyboard, and you can scale it all the way, or you can then, what direction do you want to scale in? Well, if I want to scale in the Z-axis, which is up and down, hit Z on the keyboard. Now I can scale in the Z-axis and then let go. Right, so it's just a faster way to work if you get used to the keyboard shortcut. So to move an object, hit G on the keyboard so I can move it around. If I want to limit this to a certain axis, I can do that by just hitting either X, Y, or Z. So if it's hit Z, and now I can just move it up or down. And then click to confirm it. Or you can double hit G and I can move it all the way around. And I can then still hit X or something and modify it to just that plane. See, now I'm going. Anyway, so it's really useful. All right, now let's go ahead and subdivide this. Actually, let's make it a little bit longer. Let's go ahead and do it this way now. Grab this icon up here, the scale, click it, and then left click on the blue square. Now we can move it up like this. All right, so if you remember what we had to do before, we had to go to modeling. So we had to go Let's go ahead and oh, I didn't realize I had more than one object in here. Let's go ahead and delete this one. Right click on it, select it with left mouse, right click on it, and then delete. Let's go back, click this object. Let's go back to modeling and let's go ahead and get it to where we can kind of see what we're doing here. So remember, it's Control R to bring up the loop tool like that. Once you see that there, then use your scroll mouse, the scroll wheel on your mouse. We'll give it about this many segments and then hit the left mouse button again and then hit it again. Boom, like that. All right, so now we have the segments on there. So now we just have to go back to, actually, we could you don't have to move this cursor, but I recommend moving it to the top. So I would just select this top plane here like that, and then hold Shift S, and then this bottom one here, left mouse click it, and then bam, it's up there, and then let go of Control S after you left mouse click. Bam. Let's go back to layout mode. Over here to modifiers, make sure you're on the wrench modifier properties, and then we're going to do the same modifier, the simple deform, and then you can just start seeing what it looked like if you twist it. So here we're already, X is the one that we need to be on. If you go Y, it's going to do something different, and Z will do something different. So X is the one we want. We have that nice double helix looking object here. We can go all the way to 360 if you want. And notice how it looks kind of bent and weird. You could get rid of that. Also, I'm going to go, well, I'm going to leave it like this right now, but anyway. Get the right angle on it. It looks pretty cool. And you can also mess with this until you get the kind of curve you want. Let's say you just wanted like that much twist in your ribbon. And bam, there you go. And then you can just, make this longer or shorter if you wanted it to. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Can we now still mess with the scale? Will it? Well, there's not enough subdivisions. So you want to make sure that you add enough otherwise you see it's not really. If you wanted a bunch of twists in it, then you have to add more divisions. You have to do that, before we get to this point here. So I can get rid of that, for example, go back to here, go back to modeling mode, which is object mode. You see how these divisions, if I want more divisions, I can hit Control R again, and this way, and then I can use the mouse. Oh, that's going to only divide each section though. So that's kind of a bummer. Well, I could either start over, by undoing to where I was, or I can just click this loop cut tool and we'll just divide each one of these in half by just left mouse clicking. You just hover until you see the line, then left mouse click. Now we have more divisions. I'm going to select this top line again. Oops, wrong tool. Select this top line here and then Shift S, left mouse click this icon, and then let go of Shift S. Bam, it's up there. Go back to layout mode, which is object mode. The modifier over here, we're going to do the simple deform. And now when we apply this, you're going to see we're going to be able to have more twist in it because we have more segments, right? More segments equals more twist. And if I didn't want it to be this twisty, I can just, adjust the angle over here. So you can add however much twist you want to it. Right, so there you have it. That's how to do cool twisty objects, and this is really cool for, ribbons, or if you just want to add, I don't know, just whatever reason you want to add a twist to it. You can actually make this look like a braid even. So if you wanted to do like low poly hair, you can make that look like a braid on someone's head using the cube. But try this for different objects. You can also twist a sphere and things like that. So, all right, cool. Thanks for watching. If you find this at all helpful, please do me a favor, leave a comment. Even if it's just thanks and that's all you type, it really helps the algorithms. And then hit the thumbs up button too if you feel super thankful or just like want to help out at all. It really does help. And it really, I know, like so many times I'm watching videos and they're like, hey, hit the thumbs up button. I don't even think about it. I'm just so used to just clicking on videos and watching them. And then I just forget to click the thumbs up even though I like the video. So I've been trying to get in the habit of reminding myself, click the thumbs up, man. You like the video. Why aren't you thumbs upping it, dumb dumb? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I got to do that. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have a request for more Blender videos, let me know. I have a bunch of cool stuff I've been working on. In fact, let me go ahead and show you real quick. Uh, so this is the 3D model I've been working on. I'm working on a new course, which is going to be a course on how to make muscles in 3 dimensions, which really helps tremendously. This was a goofy dragon I did in Blender. I was just bored and just did it from imagination. I didn't look at anything. I was just kind of rocking and going with it. I'm also been working with clay too. I have some clay stuff here, like this is an actual clay model. Quick clay sketch. But yeah, Blender is really cool. Um, Here's a model I've been working on from imagination, mostly from imagination. And actually, I can open that now, show you what I decided to do with it. So here she is now. I've been working her to where she could be animated. And one of the things I wanted to do a tutorial on was how to make clothes that animate correctly. See how it's all deforming correctly and everything? I know it looks weird right now because I don't have the thickness turned on, but I just click the object here and I can just turn it on right here. I just don't have it on right now. These options here. But now when I turn it on, you can see it looks nice. And see how it deforms really nice, the clothes? Well, I couldn't figure out how to get that to work right. And especially with extreme poses and stuff, my clothes were just looking so weird. I'm like, how are people making clothes work right? And the trick actually is because when you have it deforming to your your rig, what happens is if you add thickness to it first, that is, if you add thickness to your object and then apply it or something like that, and then you go and try to apply it to the rig, the weight paint needs to be on both sides, the inside and the outside. But if you keep it just a single mesh without adding thickness to it, just keep it very thin, then it deforms properly. And so once you have it done like that, then over here, so I have the armature up here. This is where I have it attaching to the rig. I copy the weight paint from the skin. I can show how to do that in another video. Then you add the solidify and the subdivision. So the order that you have these stacked in is super important. You don't want to apply this because if you apply this, then it's lame. Now for animating, you want to turn these two things off because otherwise, while you're animating, it makes your frame rate go way down. So anything like this, you want to turn off as much as you can while animating because you don't need to see it. You know it's going to look right when it's done. Then after you have it animated, then you can go turn these back on and play it and see if it looks right. But even the playback's going to be slower. Like I think do I have an animation here? I just have this quick animation I did here. And so right now I'm getting like 25 frames a second, right? But if I turn these on, look at my frame rate goes all the way down to like 10 frames a second. So you can tell it looks slower, see? And keep in mind, I have a supercomputer, right? Well, I mean supercomputer as far as a home computer goes. This computer is 30. It's a 3080. So I've got the latest Intel chip in there, whatever that is. I can't remember what that is right now, but it's the latest ones. Well, actually, they might have came out with a new one just recently, but it's way up there. It's like the 10, whatever. And then I have the 3080 RTX, and I have 64 gigabytes of RAM, and etc. So it's a very, very powerful gaming computer, and you can see how much that frame rate drops. So just make sure you turn that kind of stuff off. Now, of course, if you're absolutely satisfied with everything, I guess you can apply all this, but you want to keep the armature. Actually, no, because if you apply the solidify, I don't know if the armature will work right. I'm not sure anyway. I think this is the best way to do it. Just animate like this, and then after you have an idea, like, okay, that looks pretty cool. Let's make sure my clothes look right, and you can add these two things on there. Notice that one, the solidify, doesn't really slow it down. It's the subdivision that really slows it down. So I can already see that it looks right like that, but if I really want to see what it looks like with the subdivision on as well, I can still get an idea that, okay, everything looks right. Everything looks like it's, deforming right. I don't have any holes in my clothes, etc. Then I can turn those back off, or at least turn that off. Because look, this doesn't really make much difference. Where the solidifies, yeah, the solidify doesn't really seem to make a difference. So you can have that on if you want. Cool. So there you have it. Little bit of a bonus stuff there for future videos if you want to know how to do that with clothes, like how to how to properly animate clothes, how to add the clothes to your rig so that everything deforms properly with your model, let me know and maybe I can do a video on that. All right, until next time, thanks for watching. Double peace.